So, hello everyone. My name is Edoardo Barnini and I work for the studio Marco Piva, and I was the project leader and artistic director of the Pantheon iconic hotel in Rome. So, before to talk about what was the project and the concept, I would like to spend some word about what was the Pantheon experience. I mean, taking a look about the numbers that could be not so interesting except for the engineers, but in that case shows how this project was so important for the firm and even for me. That's because it was at first a time challenge, because we spent from the first pencil draw to the last stone that we put in the building site 10 months. So maybe most of the time the architecture firm spent 10 months to do the entire project. We built a hotel. For sure, we restore a building in 10 months from the project to the end and from the to the hotel opening. So it was a huge challenge, and for sure even a huge experience for me and for also all the people that worked at the project, because it was a perfect match between also the architecture, the craftsmen, the workers, and also the suppliers, because everything needs to be done on time, because we have a delivery stage. And it was also a test for the firm, because we are getting used to do luxury hotels, but not in such a short time. So everything must to be perfect, because it's a 5-star hotel, but most of the time we have more time to do that. Speaking about what is the project, we have to say that didactically is a 5-star hotel in the heart of Rome. It's very near to all the most important buildings in Rome, so it's very attractive for the tourist. But for sure is much more. That's because for an architect we discover how it could be difficult to make an original design in such an astonishing environment that could inspire you in very different ways, because Rome is not only the classical style, it has also many styles that grows up from the beginning to the modern times. So that's why we find that it was really difficult to follow a kind of way to show our design, and we decided to, okay, let's take a blank page and let's start from the basis, which are, for example, the simple shapes, the noble materials like marble, glass, and oak wood. And so we start to make our way to see the Roman classical hotel. So taking a look to the ground floor, we have to work in very narrow ambience. So we have to create a lobby, a reception, and also a restaurant in very narrow spaces. So what we decided to do is to create small spaces with a huge luxury, but not following the decorations, but following simple shapes and the importance of the materials. That's why how we can see we designed, even from the outside, you can see that we refuse all the decoration, but we maintain the original facade, creating two big totems from the sides of the entrance. This is the picture of the lobby, and then the reception and the lobby bar. As you can see from these small spaces, we decided to use all the same materials that communicate a kind of strictness, because they look very firm. We used the black marble, the white marble, and the brass. So we refuse to use other materials, because we would like to show to the people that come inside which was our way to imagine our Roman classicity. So taking a look, instead of the gallery, here is one of the most iconic pictures of the hotel, because it's a commercial gallery with with the shopping frames from on the left and on the right. And it's curious because the floor reflects the ceiling, so it seems like an infinite perspective, like a kind of De Chirico painting. In the rooms, instead, we decided not to keep this kind of proportion and strictness, but we decided to do more. We decided to make it in a more warmer way, even more welcoming, because otherwise, even the client can imagine that it was all too strict. So we decided to shape the rooms in another way. As you can see from the floor plan, it is an ancient building. It's from the beginning of the century, so all the rooms are shaped in very different ways. We have 79 rooms and kind of 30 model rooms, so all the rooms are kind of different. That's why we decided to do one thing. Let's keep the floor as disordinated as it is the plan. So we decided not to use floor tiles or even wood planks, but we decided to use a kind of parquet that matches perfectly to the ideal floor. So that's why we use this kind of parquet that has these even simple shapes, because are triangles, but with this kind of polygonal games that matches perfectly with the room shapes. This is a picture of the corridor where it's a kind of communication between the strictness of the lobby and welcoming of the rooms. In the rooms, we can find a kind of climax, because we decided to use lighter color for the lower level and darker color for the higher level, because they matches perfectly with the light. We are in a narrow street, so the higher level receives less light. The higher level receive more light, so we want to balance this kind of proportion, creating lower level with a white or cream leather, and instead the higher level have darker leather. We decided to design everything. This hotel is a tailor-made hotel, like I said before, so we decided to design all the piece of furniture, all the lights, and we decided not to buy from a catalog anything. That's why it's so original, because most of the time when you do this kind of job, you have to renounce at something for the time, because we were in a very hurry. But in this case, thanks to all the suppliers and all the craftsmen, we realized we reached the goal. So these are the picture of the rooms where, like I said before, we have this kind of climax with the colors. And in the rooms, we use another kind of marble that is not the black one or the white one that we have in the common spaces, but we decided to use a more welcoming and warmer marble. That's the red Lepanto marble. And we decided to put it inside the bedrooms and in the bathrooms. As you can see, we use it in the sink and also for the covering walls. We designed also the mirrors and all the sinks. And as you can see, this is a terrace from the 5th floor. We have a wonderful view of the skyline of Rome. Here is kind of hidden from the next building, but as you can see later, from the terrace, we have a huge skyline. Speaking about the rooftop, in the rooftop we find something similar to the common spaces that we have on the ground floor. So we have small spaces, except for a huge terrace that embrace all the original building. And we decided to divide the rooftop into main spaces: a lounge bar, directly connected to the terrace, and a breakfast area. In these two spaces, we find a different use of the materials that we found on the ground floor. But we still have the black marble on the floor, and we have this kind of brass boiserie that embrace this ambient. As you can see, the ceilings are very low, so we decided to paint in black and to give this kind of light game, to create this kind of perspective to enlarge the space, because otherwise it could seem very, very little. This is another detail of the breakfast area, where we have this common zone that could be used even for dinner, mixing the tables. Here we have a zoom of the material that we use mainly, and this is the lounge bar that is connected to the terrace. And the only thing that different the terrace between the other part of the project is that here we didn't design kind of anything, because we decided to keep it simple. In which way? We decided to use simple materials, like we have a deck on the floor, and simple material for the furniture, because someone has designed before us the environment. So here is only a beautiful spot. We decided to treat it as a beautiful spot to see the skylight of Rome. Thank you.
One simple question. What's the cost for one night at the hotel?
I don't know if I'm supposed to tell you, but no, for sure it's the lower prices start from 400 euros by night.
Your explanation was very complete. Thank you so much.
Thank you.